Hey, this is Dodame. I am here to bring you my very first deck build of Yu-Gi-Oh! And with this deck, it is going to be Gem Knights. Got this deck and all the cards I needed for about $50 off of Trollin' Toad. And so far, I've been playing it ever since, and I fucking love the deck. Alrighty. Let's get down to the monsters. First off, 3 Lapis Lazuli, 3 Gem Knight Lazulis. With her effect of, when she's sent to grave by any card effect, you bring a normal monster from grave to hand. That lets you recycle all the Gem Knights. And next up, we have 3 Gem Knight Obsidians. Now when he's sent from hand to grave by a card effect, you special summon a normal Gem Knight, which allows you to keep going off with Gem Knight Fusion. Next up, we have 3 Gem Knight Ambers. He is a Gemini monster, so therefore he's treated as a normal monster while he's in the graveyard, in hand and or deck. And if you manage to summon him twice, you'll get his effect by discarding a Gem Knight card to bring back a banished Gem Knight monster, which this deck likes to banish a lot. And 3 Gem Armadillos to get those Lazulis or Obsidians in hand, and possibly if you want Ambers. The main searcher of the deck. He searches out any Gem Knight monster. Alright, now 2 damage jugglers just for the negating damage effect, and if he's in grave I can banish him to bring a Trick Clown to hand. He can also be greatly used for one of the fusions that I will be going into later. 2 Trick Clowns. He is very useful, very helpful when he's sent to graveyard at all, by any effect, by an XE material. Pay 1,000 life points, bring him right back. He can also be used as a material for the fusion. 1 Gem Knight Lapis. I don't want to overflow the deck with level 3 with 3 of these things. I only run 1 because it's not that very powerful, and it's just a vanilla. Doesn't have very good use except for 1 fusion that I go into. Next up, 1 Crystal Rose. I've played this deck a lot and I've only found use for it at 1, because having it at 2 or 3 is kind of cloggy, and it doesn't really help me as much as the clowns do. So yeah. 1 Mathematician, so that I could send a Lazuli to grave, get something to hand, or send the Trick Clown to grave and special summon him so I can go off with combos with Gem Knight Fusion. Yeah. Alright, next up we have spells. 3 Brilliant Fusion. Now Brilliant Fusion, if you get this and Gem Knight Fusion in your hand, you can go off, like special summon like 5 fusions from your extra deck in just 1 turn, just by having this 1 card and Gem Knight Fusion in your hand. You send the materials you need to special summon a fusion monster from deck to grave, and usually what you would do is use Brilliant Fusion and send Gem Knight Amber and Gem Knight Lapis, and then Gem Knight Lazuli. Lazuli's effect would go off and you bring Lapis back to hand, so you'd special summon her. And then you would use her effect to tribute herself to special summon Gem Knight Master Diamond. So yeah, this card is a must to run at 3. Brilliant Fusion. Next up, I've said it several times, but 3 Gem Knight fusions. Fusion summon any Gem Knight monster by sending the materials from hand or field to grave. To special summon a Gem Knight monster from your extra deck. And then when this card is in graveyard, you can banish a Gem Knight monster to bring this card back to hand. And it is not a once per turn effect. You can constantly keep on doing it. Which, you just need one card in your hand. Just one of these in your hand. You don't need two. But I run 3 because, like, you need the thing in your hand. Next up is 3 Absorb Fusions. Sorry. 3 Absorb Fusions. This card lets you search out any Gem Knight card, whether it being Gem Knight Fusion or any Gem Knight monster from your deck to your hand. And it also allows you to fusion summon by banishing the materials that's needed to special summon. But don't do that. You need all the materials you want in grave, hand, or your field. You do not need to use its fusion summon effect. You only use it for its search effect. But you can only activate these once per turn. Next up, 3 Upstart Goblins. You draw a card, your opponent gains 1,000 life points. 3 Chicken Games. Now this card has saved my ass like quite a number of times, where I would pay 1,000 life points, or when I'm getting wrecked by someone like Monarchs or Cosmos or Pepe's, I'd play this card and they can't cause me any further damage. But the only drawback is they can use the card's effects too by paying 1,000 to either draw a card, destroy this card, or have me gain 1,000 life points. So this card's very useful to get your combos off quicker, to draw the cards that you need. One Soul Charge. You special summon any number of monsters from your graveyard by paying 1,000 for each one. 1 Twin Twisters. I run 1 because I feel like 2 would be just a bit too much. Like, I don't know, you can run 2 if you want. I used to run 2. But you would get Gem Knight Obsidian's effect by discarding that, by discarding him with this effect. You discard Obsidian to pop 2 spell or traps that your opponent controls, and then you would special summon Gem Knight Amber from your graveyard. 1 MST. Destroy a spell or trap on the field. 1 Kaiser Coliseum. This has helped me a lot and has stopped Cosmos and Pepe's from going off on me. So, this is a must, I think. It's my opinion. You can use whatever card that you like. Doesn't have to be Kaiser. But I highly prefer Kaiser. It's an awesome card. 1 Instant Fusion. You pay 1,000 life points, special summon a level 5 or lower fusion from your extra deck. And it is destroyed at the end of the turn. And then finally, onto my traps. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. When your opponent summons a monster, destroy it, remove it from play if it has 1,500 or more attack. Alright, that's the main deck. Now on to the extra deck. I run 2 Lady Brilliant Diamonds. She is very useful. She's what's needed to bring out any other fusion that you can from your extra deck without requiring the fusion summon materials. She can tribute either herself or another Gem Knight monster you control to special summon any other Gem Knight fusion from your extra deck. You can only do that once per turn, and you can only special summon 1 Lady Brilliant Diamond once per turn. Let's use a 3,400 attack beater, and she requires 3 Gem Knight monsters. What you would do really to bring her out is use Brilliant Fusion. Like I said, send Lazuli, Lapis, and an Amber, and with Lazuli's effect you bring Lapis back to hand. Then I run 2 Master Diamonds. Now Master Diamond is one of the boss monsters of the deck. I think he's very useful. I don't know why people don't really run him. with this deck, I combo people to where I can burn them for about 7,000 damage without them even going to have a turn. And you can see why in a little bit. He gains 100 attack for each gem monster in the graveyard, and he can also banish a level 7 or lower fusion gem knight from the grave to gain its effect. So that you can use Prismora, Gem Knight Prismora, to discard, pop a card that your opponent controls, Gem Knight Fusion into Master Diamond, or tribute Prismora to special summon Master Diamond, and then banish Prismora from graveyard to do Prismora's effect through Master Diamond to pop another card. Very useful. Now just a vanilla fusion, very nice to have, very hard to get over. A 2900 beat stick, level 8, just requires a Gem Knight monster and a Rock monster, and pretty much every Gem Knight is a Gem Knight and is a Rock monster. Most of them are Rock. Only one of them is like Thunder, and that's Amber. The Gem Knight Prismora. You discard a Gem Knight card from your hand to the grave to target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. Now that's one bad thing, because 1, it targets, 2, it has to be face up. So it is still a very good card, though. Now the reason how I would burn someone for about like 5,000 to 7,000 damage in one turn is because of Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli. Now her effect would be I could send a Gem Knight monster from deck to grave to burn my opponent for 500 damage for each special summoned monster out on the field. And with this deck, you can easily get in one turn 5 special summoned monsters on your own field and burn your opponent for 2,500. Not including their own special summoned monsters, which you could probably get up to like 35 to 4,000 damage. And then combo him and get this to grave, bring out Master Diamond, and then do her effect again to burn your opponent for 4,000 more damage, thus ending the game. Seraphonite, this is the one that I use the clowns to bring out. I send my Lazuli or any other Gem Knight and one of the clowns to grave to bring her out so I can normal summon twice. Usually I would do that to get Amber's effect to discard a Gem Knight monster to bring a banished Gem Knight to hand. And this is the target for the Insta-Fusion. When he special summoned, I special summon a level 4 or lower monster from grave, and its effects are negated. So you would use this for an Xyz. And then one Abyss Dweller. During either player's turn, you can detach material, and the cards in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effects this turn. Works really great against Cosmos. So you can activate this card's effect, destroy their Cosmos, and they can't banish them from the grave or do any of their effects. Castell. You can detach like 2 materials to shuffle a card your opponent controls back to their deck, or detach 1 material, flip it face down, but who the hell does that with Castell? Everyone does the shuffle. And then number 101 Honor Arc. You can attach 2 materials to target a face-up attack position monster your opponent controls, and equip it to this card as an Xyz material. And if this card would ever be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material to save it. And then lastly, Trap Tricks Rafflesia, or whatever. Now she is very good. There's a reason why I'm running only 1 trap card. It's just, if you were to bring a couple Gem Knight fusions out and then her, it would be very good and hard for your opponent to kind of get over that. Because her effect would be like, if your opponent is... This card is unaffected by the effects of trap cards, while it has the... Sorry. But the big part of this effect is that you can activate Bottomless Trap Hole from your deck. You detach a material during either player's turn, send a Trap Hole normal trap card from your deck to grave, and activate its effect. So they would bring out their fucking boss monsters, say Blue Eyes White Dragon. You'd be all like, nope, detach material, send bottomless, and then they're removed from play. And they can't do anything about that. Alright guys, so that's my deck. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what deck I should show off next. Alright, peace.